Hello Jefferson families, my name is Molly Demrow. I'm the principal here at Jefferson Elementary. This portion of our video will be a short tour of our building. This summer we'll have a lot of construction projects happening at Jefferson, so our tour will mainly be outdoor spaces and then hallway spaces. So this is the main entrance for Jefferson Elementary, door 1. And as you come into the building, our main office is right here. We'll step in and say hi to our secretary, Mrs. Walsh. This hallway is home to our second, first, and kindergarten classrooms. So as you walk down, second grade classrooms are first grade classrooms are next, and kindergarten classrooms are at the very end of the hallway. It will look different next year because we're having some remodeling done, but you can see what it looks like now. This is entrance 2. This is the door that our kindergarten students will use to enter school. As they walk in through door 2, they'll head this way, and our kindergarten classrooms are here and here. As you can see, there's some construction here at Jefferson School. What you see behind me here is the addition of a new multi-purpose room, which will be used as our cafeteria and then additional space for us at school. Included in our construction project is renovations to our kindergarten classrooms and bathrooms, so those will look different in the fall as well. We are also getting a brand new gym floor, so we'll have a lot of changes in the fall, but they're all exciting. This is our Jefferson School Library.
Hello, and welcome incoming kindergarten families. My name is Sue Washabek, and I might be your child's kindergarten teacher next year. I want to tell you a little bit about myself before we go ahead and get started with some information I have to share with you. This is going to be my 5th year teaching at Jefferson Elementary, and I absolutely love it. I wouldn't want to teach anywhere else, so I'm really excited for the chance to get to know you and your child too. I firmly believe as an educator that it's not just reading, writing, and math that I'm supposed to teach your child. I really believe that every child should also have social emotional education so that they can develop the skills and have time to practice what it looks like to be a good friend, what it looks like to be a learner, what it feels like to learn at school. So that's one of my missions, is to help your child feel successful at school, not just because they're going to learn how to read and write, but also because they learn how to be kind and how to share. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to share with you a little bit about what you can expect in kindergarten. I'm going to make me a little smaller here so that you can see. I first want to talk with you about your role as a parent of a kindergarten student and some things that you can do to help your child be successful. The very first thing on here is establishing a schedule and a routine. This can be so helpful to help your child make sure that they get a good night's sleep so that they wake up and they start and feel fresh and ready for the next day of school. Establishing a schedule and a routine can help your child know what to expect, and that removes the unknown. That helps your child feel comfortable, and they always know what to plan for. Being on time to school can be really important. We kind of become a classroom family over time, and if your child arrives late to school, they might wonder what they miss out on. So that's all part of that schedule and routine. Having that morning routine, maybe that breakfast time, or if your child is going to have breakfast at school, making sure that they arrive in time for breakfast and in time to greet their friends. Supporting classroom learning and behaviors can look like lots of different things. So right underneath that, I put communication, because both Mrs. Salienko and I feel that one of the best ways to support learning and behavior in the classroom is to communicate with us as your child's teacher. We use 2 main ways to communicate, or I should say 3. One of the first ways that we use is something called Seesaw. This is an online learning platform where your child might do some e-learning activities, but it's also the tool that Mrs. Salienko and I use for communication. We can send messages and share pictures that way, and also share with you what your child is working on at school. Email is another great way to contact both of us. And then there are those take-home folders. that your child will take home and back to school every single day, it is important to check those every day. We might have something that goes home, like a permission slip if we get to do field trips next year or something like that, just so that you are in the loop. Communication is super helpful to notify us if there are any concerns or changes. If you and your family are experiencing a big change at home, it's really helpful to let us know as your child's teacher so that we can keep an eye out and help support them if there's anything that they need, extra hugs, extra support, maybe some more pictures to help them understand what's coming next, different tools that they might need to be successful. We're here to help them, but it helps us if we know about it. So just letting us know about any concerns or changes that happen at home. Dressing properly can really help us as teachers, really helping to make sure that they can get dressed properly and independently too. So sending them to school with all the necessary things. So for example, if it's a snowy day, making sure that they have snow pants and boots and a warm coat and mittens and a hat as well. Just helping your child be prepared. And of course, giving them lots of hugs and kisses and letting them know how amazing they are. It's possible that your child might make some mistakes in kindergarten because they're going to be learning. Everything's going to be brand new, but continuing to support them in their learning and the behaviors that they might make at school can really, really help provide that nurturing environment and kind of connecting that bridge for school and home. The next thing I want to share with you is a typical day in kindergarten. And before I begin to explain what the schedule looks like, I want to share with you that this is what our current schedule looks like towards the end of a kindergarten year. Starting kindergarten, we start much slower than the schedule you see here. And both Mrs. Salienko and I are very in tune to the effects that the last school year and COVID has had on your child's education in their 4K environment. We know that there's been more home days and a little less at school days, so we're prepared to help them. It's possible that the first few weeks might be challenging if their stamina isn't there for a full day of school and learning. So we're here to help with that. But this is kind of a sneak peek about what the schedule might look like. At the very top, you'll see Eagle Time that I have right here. Eagle Time is our morning meeting, and that's kind of our classroom community time. Whoops. That's the time that we get a chance to really get to know each other. And it's also that purposeful time to teach social and emotional education and skills. We specifically teach those skills, and then they get time to practice it during recess and during playtime. There are 2 recess times that is built into the schedule. The schedule next year might look a little bit different, but you can plan and expect for 2 recess times. In here, you're also going to see that we have math and we have reading every day. Oh, I'm sorry. And then we also have lunch and playtime. There is an afternoon snack time. We do have rest time still in kindergarten, so we will be asking for some rest mats to come along with. That'll be in our school supply list. Rest time, we don't expect students to sleep, but we do hope that they color or read quietly. It's that time for them to decompress at the end of a busy day. And then we get our backpacks packed and we go to Maples. Maples stands for Music, Art, Physical Education, and Library Sciences. We are on a 6-day rotation, so there are 4 Maples activities, and music and gym are repeated. So in a 6-day rotation, they get to go to those activities twice. So that's our Maples class, and we have that at the end of the day, and then they get to go home. We do have science, and over to the side here, you'll see writing and social studies. Those topics we might switch in between depending on what we're learning and focusing about. So for example, right now our focus is Earth Week, so it makes sense that there's an additional science lesson built into the schedule. Every day your child will receive math and reading. Reading we typically have small group. And again, we don't start with small group. We start whole group and practice routines and procedures. And then eventually, both Mrs. Salienko and I move our literacy into small group lessons, allowing us to differentiate and individualize your child's literacy instruction as much as possible. We both believe in the power of play and having that time to practice those social emotional skills that we focus on every single morning. So we do have an hour of play built into our schedule. So it looks like a really busy day, but we really try hard to balance those moments where they sit and listen and also get to act and move their body to help their brains be able to focus during those listening times. We believe in a strong balance so that your child is able to be successful. It can be hard to be 5 and 6 years old at a full day of school, and we recognize that. So we try our best to build in as many natural breaks as we can into our schedule. And actually, we use tools like this. This is a visual schedule, and this is available in both classrooms all day long for every child to see so that they can plan what happens next. We believe in schedules and routines at school, too. So that's all I have to share with you today about the typical day in kindergarten and also your role as a parent. I really look forward to getting to know you and your child. I can't wait to start their next year with them. I know that kindergarten is a super important, exciting time, and I'm here to help make it the best that it can possibly be. Thank you. I look forward to meeting you.
Hi everyone, my name is Karen Salienko and I'm one of the kindergarten teachers here at Jefferson. I have been at Jefferson. Next year will be my ninth year, and it is my 14th year of teaching altogether. I graduated with a degree from UWSP in early childhood education, and I have my master's from UW Stout. I live in Plover with my husband of 21 years and my 17-year-old daughter and my 14-year-old son. Being in the throes of teenage years, I so miss when my kids were kindergartners, so I love to spend the day with kindergartners. I love the innocence and the pure joy that school brings. I look forward to meeting all of you in the fall, and I look forward to also seeing those families that we know here at Jefferson already. I am going to switch over to the slideshow to share a little bit more with you. So a common question we get is, how do I get my child ready for kindergarten? What I feel is the best way to prepare kids for kindergarten is to practice social skills and practice emotional intelligence. So what that basically means is working on sharing, play skills, asking other friends to play, being able to use your words when there's a problem, solving problems with other friends. Those are the biggest. Quite often when those skills are not there, we spend a lot of time focusing on those instead of academics. So if kids come with strong social skills, it is an asset from the very first day. Also counting, basic counting, being able to just count to 10, but also being able to count 10 objects is very helpful. We also work on colors and shapes at the beginning of kindergarten, Reading is something that we work on very quickly. We do not expect kids to come into kindergarten reading, but if you read often with your child at home, that helps them to understand how books work and the way that reading flows. So that is always very helpful. Writing, the biggest thing that we work on at the beginning of kindergarten that will help your student is writing his or her name. Beyond that, we don't expect much for writing. We will be teaching all of those writing skills right here in the classroom. Playing, we talked about a little bit. We are a play-based kindergarten, so we spend an hour of the day playing in a free choice format, and then our centers, our other activities are very play-based. Self-help skills, making sure they can open their lunchbox and all the containers inside of their lunch, being able to zip their jacket, tie their shoes, when winter comes, being able to get their winter gear on. All of those things are extremely helpful in the kindergarten classroom. We teach a lot on independence, and so when kids are able to do those things independently, they feel so much pride in themselves, and they feel very grown up when they can do those things. The last thing that will help your kindergartner be prepared for kindergarten is following directions. We start the year off with 1, 2, sometimes 3-step directions. So being able to follow 2 or 3 things in a sequence is always very helpful. Just a little bit on supplies here. Let's see if I can move this out of the way. All right. So in kindergarten, on a normal year, and I know we are still in the throes of COVID, so things will probably maybe look different next year. This year, kids all have individual supplies, but in a normal year, we have community supplies where we share markers, pencils, all of those things. This is just a quick list of some of the things that they need. I will not read it all to you, but anything that you see that has a little asterisk on it, so the pencil box, the folders, the notebooks, shoes for gym, backpack, and a quiet time mat. Those should all be labeled when they come in. You don't need to label anything else. We will be putting those together to share. If not, then we will divide them up amongst the kids. Another thing that is really, really helpful is to have an extra set of clothes in your student's cubby. Shirt, pants, underwear, socks. Spills happen, milk gets spilled, they go on the playground and it's wet and they get wet, and it happens. So it's very helpful. Kids feel much more comfortable if they can be in their own clothes when that happens. If we are wearing masks next year, an extra mask is very, very much appreciated to have in the classroom. Kindergartners are not always very good at keeping their mask dry, so they feel much more comfortable if they have the opportunity to change out that mask for a dry one. I look forward to talking to all of you during our Q&A session, and I hope that you have a good rest of your school year and a wonderful summer. Take care.
Hi, my name is Kathy Reynolds. I'm the school nurse coordinator for the Stevens Point Area School District. I, along with my school nurse colleagues, are here to welcome you, kindergartners, parents and guardians, to kindergarten. But before I start, I'd like to introduce my school nurse team, starting with...
Hi, I'm Nurse Sarah.
I'm Nurse Berta. I'm Julie. I'm Nurse Julie.
All of us are here again to welcome you to kindergarten. Parents, whether this is your first child coming to kindergarten or if it's your last child coming to kindergarten, every child experiences kindergarten differently. So we're here today just to provide you with some brief reminders and some recommendations that we hope will help your child have a happy and healthy kindergarten experience. Sarah, how often will the school nurse be at elementary school?
Good question. So our school nurse team goes all over the district, and from elementary standpoint, our nurses are there for a few hours on about 2 days a week. So who is there, Berta, to provide for student health care when the nurse isn't there?
We understand that your children's health is important to you, and it's very important to us as well. So the office staff in the schools is trained by us to take care of your children for any first aid needs and to pass out medications to them as needed throughout the school day. Nurse Julie, who is available to care? Nurse Julie, is there a place where children can lie down if they're not feeling well?
So each school usually has about one cot for students. That doesn't allow a whole ton of students to be in there at one time. However, if your student is injured or ill, we will contact the parents to come and get them for the day. We expect you to respond as soon as possible, but we understand that you're busy throughout the day as well. However, the health room is not set up to be an all-day recuperation place for these students. So Kathy, what happens if a parent is unable to come pick up their student?
Well, parents, if you're not available, the school secretary will look at who you've listed as responsible people that you've given permission to pick up your child. So it's really important that that contact information be correct and up to date. And just remember that if Grandma Kathy's on the contact list, you better let Grandma Kathy know. Surprises are not a good thing. And Sarah, what about children with health conditions?
Yes, so parents, if your student has a health condition that could limit their ability to learn or be in school, we want you to let your student's school know. Let the office know, and the office will reach out to the school nurse, and then we will in turn reach out back to you to find out more information about that health condition, whether it's seizures, diabetes, asthma, allergies, vision or hearing deficit, those types of things. So we will be reaching out to you after you notify the school of that condition. Berta, what about children that need medications at school?
According to the district policy, it's the preference that the medications be given at home prior to the child coming to school. However, we understand that that's not always possible. So if prescription or over-the-counter medications need to be taken at school, we have forms that need to be completed and brought in with that medication to school. Those forms are available on the school district website as well as in the office at each and every school. Nurse Julie, what immunizations are required?
So the Wisconsin student immunization law requires students to have a minimum number of doses of each vaccine. We would have you talk to your healthcare provider to see, or the local health department to see what vaccines that your student needs to either receive or if they're up to date. We do recommend that your student receives any of these vaccines prior to the first day of school. The summer is actually a really good time for students to go see their provider to do any sort of checkup, whether that's vision, hearing, dental work, just to address any issues prior to the start of the school year. Nurse Sarah, what other tips are helpful before children start kindergarten?
A couple weeks prior to school starting in the fall, it'd be great and really helpful to get your child on a bedtime routine, setting them up for at a certain time each evening to kind of wind down and go to bed. This can really help them be prepared for those long work days at school in the coming months. So that's really important because they need that energy to learn and play while they're at school. So sleep is of the utmost importance. Julie, how important is breakfast before children start each school day?
So I understand that not everyone is going to eat a hearty breakfast each morning. However, it's so important for these kiddos to get some nutrition in the morning, whether that's at school or at home. This will help them also be able to engage in the workday and the play day. So again, whether it's at school or home, please just make sure that your kiddo is getting something to eat before they go to school. Nurse Berta, how can parents help their child transition to kindergarten?
We understand that this is a milestone event for both children and parents, and it can be both exciting and scary at the same time. So parents, your positivity will help your child better impact how they transition and their attendance. So your positivity about kindergarten is being a place for your kids to make friends, learn about new things, and they get to play. So encouraging those aspects of kindergarten for your child to make the transition easier is very helpful. Nurse Kathy, is there anything else that you'd like to share?
I think that you've all shared all the most important information, except for two last things. Have a great summer. See you next week. We can't wait to meet you.
Incoming families are encouraged to complete a free and reduced price meal application. Students who qualify for free or reduced priced meals also qualify for fee waivers, as well as free milk during milk break for kindergarten through 5th grade. Your meal status is effective for the school year and for the first 30 operating days of the following school year. Current school year applications must be completed annually. Applications are usually available by the first week of August and can be completed online through Skyward Family Access by selecting your student, click Food Service, click Applications. Be sure to click Submit once you have entered all the required information. Paper applications can be obtained from your school office. Applications can also be downloaded and printed by going to the district website. Click on Departments, Food Service, Free Reduced Meal Information. Only one application should be filled out per household. Families who qualify for free or reduced price meals through direct certification will receive a letter from us and do not need to do anything further unless there is a problem with your letter, such as missing students that live in your household. If there is an issue with your direct certification letter, please contact the food service office as soon as possible so we can review your account. If your application is denied, you can reapply at any time within the school year if you have a decrease in income or an increase in household members. The Stevens Point School District receives funds that are based on the number of students who receive free and reduced price school meals through the application or direct certification process. We encourage all families to apply for free and reduced price meals. If you have any questions regarding free and reduced price school meals, please email foodservices@pointschools.net or call 715-345-5435.